Hey everyone, we're going to do something a little different today. We're talking about how you can balance your life in the different areas. And I was talking to one of my buddies about this month evaluation sheet that I do. And so I'm going to share that today. We're going to go over, there's 10 that I have listed here. And I like to go at the end of every single month and just rate myself out of 10. When it comes to area A, we'll get into it in a second, but how am I doing out of 10? And then at the end of evaluating all these areas, write about how I feel like I should be doing, what I did differently from last month. And then at the end, it's really like a journaling exercise. I'll say, okay, here's what I'm gonna do to fix it for next month. So we're gonna get into it. Hopefully this is helpful. And I'll put one of these forms in the link in the description so that you can use it too. The first area is health. And these 10 areas that we're gonna go over, you don't have to do them in this order. And this is also not the priority. I'm not listing some that are more important in the first 5 and the less important in the bottom 10. There's no order to these. I'm just gonna go through and I rate these throughout the month. So I'll write down, okay, where's my health at? Have I been eating the way that I want to? Have I been going to the gym the way that I want to? And I'll just put that out of 10 and see, okay, how's it going? What needs to be changed? Is it going good? Remember, we're doing this once a month. The second area is spiritual. So I'll go and say, okay, how's my Bible reading doing? How's my time spending with the people that are in the ministry that I get to serve in? How are they doing? How is my marriage doing? Because the way that your marriage is going to go is a direct result of how you're doing spiritually. And I try to say what needs to be fixed, what needs to stay, and then I'll move on to the next area. The third area is personal growth. Now, I have a tendency to just not work on personal growth and to work a lot on school. And like if I'm in a class for something, I'll learn a lot about it. But if I'm not in a class for it, I'm just like not learning. So this YouTube channel was actually a result of a month evaluation that I saw my personal growth was like a 3. And I was like, I've been doing a lot of 3s in that area and low scores. What can I do to fix it? So I started this YouTube channel as a way to be able to help other people, but also it keeps me accountable learning about the personal growth areas. So if it needs to be fixed, how can I fix it? My current daily goal or weekly goal for personal growth is just 10 minutes of some kind of learning, ideally reading. But I notice I do have a lot of car time at the church I go to. I'll like visit somebody, and so I have car time, so I can use that time to learn on Audible instead of reading in person, or go on YouTube and learn some things there too. So I try to do 10 minutes a day, 4 times a week of some kind of a personal growth. The fourth area is finances, and this is where I just say, okay, am I tracking my finances? Okay, good, if I am, and then if not, then I need to be, and then how am I spending the money that I'm spending, and how does my wife think about that spending, and just be transparent. So whenever I have looked at the finances before, I've seen, man, I pay a lot of money for school, but I'm investing in my brain. That's something that is going to be with me forever. It's not a depreciating asset, it's an appreciating asset. So I want to make sure that I'm constantly investing in that area. So look at your finances, say, how am I doing? Have I been doing what I need to be doing? Do I need to make some adjustments? Am I living at 25%/30%? Is that what my rent is? Because if it's more than that, if your rent is 50% of your income, you don't have very much expendable income. So just kind of looking at those numbers and doing this sheet causes me to just reflect, just think about it for a second. The fifth area is marriage. So how am I loving my wife? Am I being intentional? Do we have dates that we're going on consistently? One thing that I've noticed is that being at ministry, like being able to be in the ministry is awesome. We get to do so many things together. I'm a middle school pastor, so I get to go out and do stuff with my wife and the students, and it's a great time. But it's easy to not have any intentional time with my wife if I am not doing that and putting it on the calendar. So whenever I go through, rate my marriage, how's it going? And also, there's a seasonal element, at least to what I do, where there are some busier seasons where we might not go on a date where we normally would, but we try to do our best to take advantage of the slower seasons and be more intentional so that at the end of the day, my values are determining where my time is going. And it's not just all the emergencies of life. It's intentional. So the sixth area is work. So for me, I break my work off into 2 different sections. I say, okay, I feel called to be a pastor one day, not just a youth pastor. I love being a youth pastor. I'll probably be one for a long time, but one day I want to be able to pastor a congregation. So one of the qualifications that I feel like God has called me to do is just some of the work in school. So currently I'm working on a biblical languages master's. I finished that next month. And when this video comes out, I might actually be done. But the biblical languages master's has really kept me focusing on learning God's word. For us, we learn it Greek and Hebrew and how to interpret passages and stuff. And I just want to be able to be responsible with what I teach people from God's word. So that's like one section. And then the other section is, how am I doing when it comes to discipleship with the students? How am I leading the leaders? How am I being able to just be a good example in the different areas? And how are my sermons going? How is the process going into the sermon? And so much more of the sermon is like, have I applied this thing to my life that I'm sharing? Not so much, am I a great speaker? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, who really cares how good you speak? It's about the impact that you can make with relationships with people. But you want to be diligent when you are studying. So I'll look at those different areas and see, how can I improve? Where are we at out of 10? And it's not really like okay, I don't love God if I'm a 4 out of 10. It's just hey, let's make an adjustment for next month, see if I can get it back up. So that area, that's work. Number 6. Number 7 is music. So this is something that I've been doing the last 4 years, and I did not really do much music. Music is something that I've been working on definitely the last 5 months, and I didn't for like the first year of being married, the first year and a half of being married. And I worked on it before that too. But just with getting married, I was still in my bachelor's degree, and I had a lot of time that was taken up. So I didn't make music a priority necessarily in that season right after getting married. But now I'm back at it. So music, I really want to be able to just do a little bit every month to be able to learn a different instrument, or just to be able to learn more about music in general. I don't want to be a musician, but for me, that's just an area that I try to rate. Like, I don't need to spend an hour a day doing something, but I just want to slowly learn, because music is really, it's involved in my job with worship. And so, yeah, I've been playing the drums now for about 6 months, and I've just been, every time that I play the drums, I get to swipe off on my habit. That I'll go on that and talk about that in a second. Number 7 is music. So if you don't want to learn music, that's totally fine, but I'm trying to just do a little bit every single day. And I played the guitar 5 minutes a day for about a year, and then I learned all the major chords, so that was pretty cool. And then I played piano that one was about 6 months. I played when I was like a kid, like in 8th grade, and then I picked it back up my like sophomore year of college, I think. And that was, or maybe it was junior, but that was cool because I'm just trying to like learn how a musician thinks, because there's a lot of musicians out there that are incredibly creative people. I'm not that creative, but I can benefit from that habit, that routine, exercising my mind in that way, and it's a better leisure time than playing video games, but those are fun too. So number 8 is reading. I try to rate how am I doing in the reading when it comes to not my school assignments, because we have tons of reading to do for school. I don't really struggle with that because I get an F if I don't do it. So am I doing some reading consistently outside of school? And again, these areas, they might change. They have changed from the past, but these are just where I'm rating throughout the year, throughout every single month. 10 minutes a day, 4 times a week, and I rate the reading out of 10. How have I done this month? If I've missed, half the days and did it, half of the other days, that's pretty good. Like, I just want to be working on those things consistently. You might have more in your calendar, you might have less. Either way. Number 8 is reading. Number 9 is Greek and Hebrew. So I've spent a lot of time learning the biblical languages just for my degree, but I don't want to lose them. And that's something that a lot of people will say. If you learn a language and you don't use it, you lose it. So there's this app that I have on my phone. It's called Daily Dose. There's a guy named Robert Plummer who just puts out a video on the Greek language. It's just a verse, and I just try to watch that every single day. Number 10, the last step to rate, is goals. So on this sheet, I have a 1 year, a 3 year, a 5 year, and a 10-year goal. And that sounds like a lot, and it's a lot when you first put it down on paper, but these are copied and pasted from the last month, and I just update them. So it's helpful because I'm not writing all these things out every single month. Those I copy and paste. And so I just go in and say, are these still where I want to be at this time? Is this still what I want to shoot for? And whenever I rate those areas, actually last month I added the YouTube channel thing. I was like, okay, I went from, I think I want to start a YouTube channel, to I am starting a YouTube channel, to here's my process that's going to take me for the next year. So if you can have that, here's my goals, here's where I want to go, then it'll help you align what you do throughout the week to line up with those goals. So if you want to have a degree, you want to go back to school, you want to get your bachelor's degree in business, what do you need to be doing Monday through Friday to make that happen? Do you need to be saving up money? Whatever it is, if you have those year goals, it helps align time this week with long term, so that when long term comes, you're going to be able to be where you need to be and ready to do what you ultimately want to do in life. So those are the 10 areas, and I wrote down just a couple of tips to just kind of go along. I use what's called the Productive app. If you go in the App Store, there's a bunch of these. You don't have to use Productive. I like Productive because it was out there when I started this a few years ago. You can swipe on the different habits that you want to do every single day. And there's like a little noise that happens, and it shows you your streak, how long you've done these habits. The way that I'm able to keep up with these 10 areas, or when I keep up with them, able to keep up with, is because I just do a little bit every single day towards all the areas. So this app keeps track of it for me. If you don't want to use the app, you can just use a journal. Before I had the app, I just made check boxes. Okay, did I go to the gym? Did I read something? Whatever. Did I play my instrument? So use the app if you can. I think it's like $30 a year, but well worth it. Helps you. It's a second brain for you. You don't have to spend all your time remembering. You can just follow the app. And I said earlier that you copy and paste your goals. There's one other section you copy and paste each month, and that is the summary/application from last month, because I can see, okay, I said in January, here's what I was going to fix. Okay, now it's February, and I copy pasted that section and titled it last month. Okay, did I do those things? Ooh, I didn't do that. Oh, I did do that. Okay. And then I'm able to evaluate if I tried to do something 2 months in a row and it didn't get done. This next month, that's going to take first priority. So copy paste your goals and then your application from last month, and then go after you rate those 10 areas out of 10, journal a little bit about them, a couple of sentences. You don't want this exercise to take too long because then you won't do it. But then at the end of this month, you write, here are the 1 to 3 areas that I want to improve in. Sometimes it's just one, sometimes it's 3 different areas. I probably wouldn't go more than 3, but write down what you're going to improve in for those areas. And then that thing that you say needs to go to the calendar. That's a hole in the system that I've noticed before. If I don't actually put time in the calendar towards what I want to improve, it just doesn't happen. So make sure it goes to the calendar, and do this, guys, every month at the end of the month. For me, sometimes I would miss months until I put it in my calendar. So I've just got some time blocked off on a Friday at the beginning of every month to just reflect on the last one. And if you start doing this, you'll be able to notice, man, I'm able to be much more balanced in these areas, and you won't go months and months without working on your health, for example, because you're reflecting. And this self-evaluation is key to anything, but this is a way to do it in your life. Do these 10 things, evaluate them, and we'll see you on the next one.